let's talk about the real implications. What's going to happen with Hard Knocks?
Ooh,
I mean,
good
that's
question. I think
uh,
they still got to be shooting, right?
I, well. So is it going to be like the NBA bubble type of atmosphere? It's like whoever the film crew is just going to stay in like film training camp, but like nobody's allowed in or out.
It's both the Chargers and the Rams this year, right?
Yeah.
Is
I
it?
mean, they are in one
Yeah.
central location. Yeah. That's a really good question, Connor. I'm surprised that we haven't heard anything about that.
They're
But
probably waiting to figure it out, honestly. Like they probably don't want to make an announcement until they definitely know that something's not happening.
Mhm.
And it'll be a lot less interesting without preseason games, which is unfortunate
Yeah.
because that's sort of like they've always kind of made it episodical on the next game now. So
Yeah.
I'll miss that. But I mean, they've done a good job in every scenario they've had. So I hope that they are still filming in LA and figure out some way. They could just have a crew in each and just sort of send back video and have someone else editing off site or something like
Yeah.
that. So I think it's doable.
I do think
Maybe
it's
we'll
really
have more.
interesting though to see like the inner workings of an NFL team during this crazy time. Like it's going to be a record
Yeah,
for
That would be great.
forever.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, forget the
so-
games.
Yeah, so like maybe that replaces some of the intrigue. Like the way that they always structured it was that the preseason games were kind of like you were always building up to that in each of the episodes,
Yeah.
and then like they kind of deconstructed it after. And so they'll have to figure something out, like what's going to be like the capping thing, just from a storytelling perspective.
They'll have
But
to get creative.
yeah,
That's it.
there's going to be some. I mean, the NFL films do
Because
such a good job; they'll figure it out.
if you're not going to have preseason games, that means I can't gamble. And then if you're not like, unless I want to do prop bets on who's going to get injured in training camp, which is kind of
Do you
sadistic.
gamble on preseason
Uh,
games?
Dude, I'll gamble on anything. I'm gambling on baseball. I'm gambling. I don't have sports right now. Well, I can't go to sporting events, so I have to do something to feel like I'm in the game. But no, I have to have Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Who else will I
look forward
like?
to
How
Hard
else will
Knocks.
I know to draft
I love
somebody
Hard
in a late
Knocks.
round?
Yeah,
And I think this is a perfect opportunity for HBO and NFL films to really get into, what we were a part of. And that's training camps. That's, summer practice sessions, 3-a-days, things like that. Go into the drills, show these things that are just normally in like your highlight cuts, and you're doing this, you're seeing a little bit of the Oklahoma drill or a little bit of the sled drill. Take this time without the games and show what professional players do when they're not on the actual football field. I think that would be perfect. Show how the coaches are implementing these new hitting techniques and all these different skills that they're trying to teach their players. I think this is a perfect opportunity to kind of take the focus away from your Darren Wallers from last year's Hard Knocks, or Keelan Doss, right, who's trying to make the team, who doesn't even make the team and gets signed to a practice squad. Focus on what actually builds the team, and that's like the practice, right? I think that would be really cool, and that's always been one of my favorite parts of Hard Knocks anyway. So,
Well, I think that to your point there, though, I mean, there's like still going to be they're going to need a narrative ultimately. Like a lot of it will be in it, like the interest will be around sort of the drills and like the actual like what it feels like to work out for 10 days in the hot sun kind of atmosphere. But like
yeah,
there's still like even without games, preseason games, there are still like training camp heroes. Like, I know that the guys on the Steelers podcast talk about them all the time. Like Tuzar Skipper and Ola Adeniyi are the two guys that like everyone's super excited about because at practice they're just like killing it all the time, and that will still be there. So like there might not be the game for them to put it on exhibition necessarily, but like there will still be some rags to riches stories. Like I mean, there's still 80 guys getting in there. They're going to have to be whittled down to 53, and one or two of them are going to get hurt, and another, so that'll give someone an opportunity to step up, and maybe they could also have like a 4-5 episode like story arc about just about like what the heck's happening in the league. People are finding it out in real time, and we're going to get news dropped every week that's just like, oh, we're pushing back the season, or this person has an infection and now we sort of like see how they're handling it, or something like that. So there's probably maybe even more interest this time. It'll force them to break out of the mold though anyway, which will be fun.
What I hope they don't do is go like try to find coronavirus angles and like tell how coronavirus has impacted like these tangential parts of the community. Like I have sympathy for that, but like I want this as a distraction from all that, and I want to dive deep into football and to like not think about that for a little bit.
I guess a big element though is what the teams allow them to capture, because I'm sure like there were just like set guidelines, which is why Hard Knocks has become so formulaic, is because, teams are willing to allow this much footage from this episode or from this part of practice and stuff like that. Is like, will teams open things up a little bit more? I doubt it, but I guess they have to come up with some way to create content. And I think a lot of the stuff that may just be seem benign to most is actually super interesting.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on this season. Hopefully there is a season because, like I said, without Hard Knocks, I don't know who to draft.